All right. Wait, I shouldn't talk over this song.
No. Shh. Make it weird.
I don't
over the intro.
Sorry, I didn't know what to do. I felt so awkward just standing like sitting here.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, exactly. It felt really strange, but we're back. Episode 4. Flipping straighter, still making it weird. I think we did a pretty good job last week of making it weird too with Derek Stroop. I mean,
man, he's so funny.
He really is. And we couldn't have timed that any better on National Waffle Week.
That's true.
Did you know that last week was National?
House.
Yeah, talking about Waffle House. That was 100% intentional.
100%. We had that planned.
Yeah.
We did not know about it after the fact at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, that worked out really nicely. We did not know. That was completely unintentional.
Right. That's just how good
but actually it was great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, we've got a lot of fun to get to today. And because we've got another special guest swinging by the show. He is a travel expert, an author, internationally known individual. He's going to swing by and give us some travel hacks, I guess, for winter and travel and for fall travel or something like that. I don't know. That's the plan, but we don't know exactly. We never know how it's going to go.
Right.
He knows how to keep it weird too. So yes, I think it's going to be very interesting. Some old business from last week. I want to thank everybody that reached out and shared with me the word that I could not remember. Do you remember talking about Jace climbing picnic tables at
scaling
where is that at
gymnastics? Yep.
Yeah. And I said, you need to get him into that thing where people hop around buildings in urban areas and they're jumping around and
you
I
had
said,
no idea what you're
you're
about.
like eluding police and criminals. Right. And I was like, no. It's parkour.
Parkour. Yeah.
Parkour was the word that I was thinking of.
I didn't know that was I thought that was just from the off. Like I had no idea that's an actual.
No, it's an actual thing. So parkour, this is how it's described. I just pulled this up. An activity that can be practiced alone or with others and is usually carried out in urban areas, though it can be done anywhere. It involves seeing one's environment in a new way and envisioning the potential for navigating it by movement around, across, through, over, and under its features. That is parkour.
That seems very illegal. I don't know. Sounds
potentially.
Illegal.
Well, potentially. A lot of people that do parkour do get in trouble. Like they're doing parkour on things that they're not supposed to be doing parkour on, like national monuments and stuff. And they end up getting in a bunch of trouble. So we don't encourage that.
Yeah.
We just encourage it on picnic tables if you're a toddler.
Right. No, we don't encourage that. And especially when they're leaned up against the thing. Like they're leaned up, folded up, and he's trying to scale them.
Well, whose fault is that? That sounds like a parent's fault, right? Was there a parent around?
I mean, there was me around.
Yeah,
if that counts.
No, I'm not sure. Let's start with some good news. What's today's good news, Flip? What do we got?
All right. So we have got a story about a charity in Virginia. It's a place called Friendly City Florals, and they launched earlier this year after a couple of friends realized that a ton of flowers from weddings and flower shops and everything were getting thrown out when they were still perfectly good. And so they set up a way for people to donate them so they can be turned into these new bouquets that they hand out at places like retirement homes and hospitals. And they're also taking donations from local gardeners too. So it's just a way for them to sort of recycle all of the flowers and stuff that would be thrown in the trash can. And
That's
now
cool.
They're just, taking them to nursing homes and hospitals and everything and just spreading some joy with flowers. Who doesn't love getting flowers, much less giving them? So it's definitely a cool thing.
That is a really good idea. I dislike, I don't say hate because I'm guilty of it too, but all the waste when big things like that happen with like big weddings or big events, you end up seeing how much waste happens after the fact. So for someone to think of that and say, well, we can not only reduce this waste and also we can make others smile along the way, which is really cool. Yeah. People like that, man. I'm telling you, we need more people like that in this world.
Yes.
that can come up with those kind of
Mhm.
ideas.
Yeah.
It seems so
Be
simple.
wait, wait. Where huh,
Do you know what are
be
you
the
okay?
good. Believe there is good in the world, be the good. See, that's the thing. I just
Yeah.
I'm having a hard
Yeah.
time with my
Is it backwards for you? Like, is it
Yes,
are
it is. It's
your
throwing me off.
footage
I'm
is
like, "Wait,
mirrored?
it's over
Yeah.
here." Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
it's
looking in a
over
mirror
there.
and you can't quite figure it out where you are. Uh, that's pretty cool. What's the organization's name again?
It
It's
is Friendly City Florals. So you can
Friendly City
go,
Florist. That's a
it's
great. That's cool.
friendlycityflorals.com. You can go there, you can donate and just help them continue this. And hopefully it'll be spread. It's in Virginia now, but hopefully
Yeah.
if it catches on enough, they can make it nationwide
I think it would be
before too
awesome.
long. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they need
Yeah,
some other people that think that's a cool idea too to come
yeah,
and, take the torch in a different city. That'd be
right.
neat.
Yep.
Speaking of different cities, different states, let's switch right into from the good news to the Florida news. Now I didn't prepare anything this week.
Oh, oh, you don't really
Labor Day.
have to prepare. They just come to you,
Yeah, I know.
basically.
I didn't look for a Florida
Yeah,
story this week because it
yeah,
was a short week for
right.
us Labor
Yeah,
Day and
it
stuff.
just didn't work. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
Well,
I got you.
man.
I'm carrying the load over
Well,
here.
that's what I expected.
So this guy in Pennsylvania, I always call Pennsylvania the Florida of the North because
Yeah.
I mean, you got Philadelphia, you got Pittsburgh. There's a bunch of
And
crazy people
your
up there.
husband's from there,
My
and you know your
husband and his
husband.
family are from there, and it's just I've been there before. I've seen things. I've seen some
Yeah.
things in Pennsylvania. And this idiot was destined to end up in jail one way or another. It's too many. Like, you make a couple of dumb decisions in a day or something. He met his quota and then some. There's a 24-year-old guy, Christopher Ganzel. He stole a car from a library parking lot last month in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. It's kind of right near Philly. And some guy had left his 2023 Subaru running, and this guy took off in it, but he didn't just take it for a joyride. No, no. He went to a police station. And
What? Why?
the reason that he went is the dumbest part. So he had apparently had an earlier run-in with cops, and he wanted to ask them for his drugs back. They did not realize.
I mean, that's fair. That's
That
fair.
he was in a stolen car at that point.
Yeah.
But they did moments later when they got a report that
Oh
he had just
no.
used it as a getaway car for another crime. Because
Oh
apparently he tried
no.
to shoplift from a nearby Target and he was seen speeding off in the same Subaru. So they tracked him down and arrested him. And he is facing 2 felony charges for unlawful taking and receiving stolen property, plus
Oh
a
my
misdemeanor
God.
for unauthorized use of a car, and he did not, in fact, get his drugs back. But they
What
did
an
invite him
what an
for a nice
idiot.
little stay at the jail, so.
Speaking, you know what? I do have something. This didn't. You just reminded me of this. I'm sorry. I got to look at my phone because I took a screenshot of it. Um,
What?
your story with the drugs and
Yeah.
you saw this story about that lady from Thousand Pound Sisters. Did you hear about
Mm-hmm.
that? So she
Yeah.
was arrested in Tennessee,
Yes.
and the most unusual circumstances surrounding this. Deputies say her story anyway
Yeah.
is that she was at this Tennessee safari park
The
in Alamo,
drive-through
Tennessee.
where the
Yeah.
animals, like, you can feed them from your car and stuff. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I've never been to one.
Sounds incredibly I mean, the insurance for that, I
It's
just can't even imagine.
gotta be through the roof.
Through the
Yeah.
roof. But
Mm-hmm.
that's neither here nor there. Anyway,
Right.
so this lady from A Thousand Pound Sisters,
Yeah.
she's going through the safari park on Labor Day,
Mm-hmm.
says she was bit by a camel,
Yeah. Do they even have
and
a camel?
I don't know. I don't know. But this is what she says, and so I guess she calls the police. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
The sheriff's department shows up, arrives at her vehicle where she's
Yeah.
waiting, and apparently, and she's like, "Hey, I was bitten by a camel. I
Yeah.
need help." And they're like, "Well, wait a second. What's that odor coming
Yeah.
from your car?"
That's a
And
weird smell. Is there a
yeah,
skunk
weird
in your
smell.
car? Hmm.
Yeah, and so
Mhm.
anyway, she was arrested on a bunch of drug charges,
Yeah.
because they ended up searching the car and found a bunch of drugs.
Mhm.
So But here's another weird part of it. This is the weirder part of the story is that because this is that the safari park owner or someone that works there. I don't have that part of the story in here, but I had read that in another thing has basically said that they doubt her story because the marks on her didn't look like a camel bite.
Right. I wonder what a camel bite. I don't know.
Looks
I'm just gonna
like.
Google it, but
I'd be very careful
yeah.
googling that. I don't know. But the point is, why would she, if she did make it up that she was bit by a camel, why, like what? And you have drugs in the car.
That's what I'm saying. That's
why would you meet her at that's why Florida exists, because it's just like the stupidity level is.
If you're committing a crime or in the process of committing a crime or something, the cops, they should not be the first ones that you call.
No, exactly. Exactly.
They're there to keep the community
Actually,
safe.
wait a second. They should.
I mean, they should. Definitely. They should. And you should be arrested.
The first one. That's right. That's exactly right.
That is called karma in action, I think is what we call that. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, so I did have That's So For today out of Tennessee. Yeah. I feel like I was able to contribute there. But yeah, just the stupidity level just amazes me sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
It absolutely amazes me. And let's see here. Gosh, I think we need to talk about this because no, it's not bad. So I want to talk about the crazy shit that your kids did this week.
Oh yeah.
But it's a good thing. And
good thing.
It's kind of good, but it's also weird. Okay. So no one warns you about when you become a parent. They warn you about, oh my gosh, you're gonna have sleepless nights when when they're kid, when they're babies, when they're toddlers, there's gonna be the tantrums and the kind of that figuring out their boundaries,
Right. Yep.
But yeah, and then when you do hear about when someone becomes a teenager, they're like, oh my gosh, just wait, there's gonna be talking back, and they're just wait. Yeah, that's the old saying.
Yeah.
They're gonna be talking back. You think it's hard now, like they're gonna have emotions and hormones and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's true. Okay, so we have two teenagers in a house. That is true.
There
happens. However, what they don't say is how funny your teenagers are, and how much laughter they can bring, and the moments when they're not emotional and being talking back or whatever, they're so funny. And so, just as an example, over the weekend, we went out for like a pizza night, the whole family. We're all driving back in the back of the car.
Thanks for the invite.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I think you had something going on that night. I don't know. But Bobby, who's our 16-year-old, he's bored in the very back of the car, the third row. He's in the third row, and he's like, what do I do back here?
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm gonna call somebody, and I was like, it's like, oh God.
Right.
So he picks up a phone and calls his aunt, and it's about 8:30 or so on a Sunday night, but it was Labor Day weekend, so next day was a day off. Anyway, so it's like 8:30, so Sunday night, and he's like, what, hey, what's going on? And she asked Bobby, what are you guys up to? And without skipping a beat, without laughing, without anything, he makes up this elaborate story about how we're on our way to a chicken chucking contest at one of the local schools. I swear to you, this is exactly chicken chucking contest. And if for $10 you get to chuck a chicken or as many chickens as you can in 10 minutes. You get to chuck as many chickens as you can in 10 minutes. And you get to throw these chickens, and I assume that they're frozen. I don't know. I hope he's not talking about live chickens. Right. I don't know. But he's like, you get to chuck them against a chalkboard. And so Avery jumps right. Avery's not like, no, he's making that up. Avery doesn't, he's not laughing. He just jumps right in. He goes, oh yeah, my friends did it last year. And one of them still has their chicken leg award. And so Brittany and I are in the just up in the front seats, just looking at each other going, oh my God, like, what is this? Obviously none of this is true. We're on our way back from eating pizza. And, but he's got her, his aunt, Brittany's sister, hook, line, and sinker. I mean,
Mhm.
she's like, oh my gosh, like I've never heard of that. Is it kind of like axe throwing? And it's like,
Right.
yeah. And
She's
he's like,
like,
yeah, it's kind
"Well"
of like axe throwing. Yeah, except
yeah.
it's with chickens instead. And we're just laughing our asses off up there because out of nowhere this came from. And so anyway, and that is just a moment with teenagers
Yeah.
that I think people don't warn you about. They get a lot of bad rap for the emotions and the
They do.
hormones and the talking back, but I'm telling you, there's so much
Yeah.
fun and funny, and that's
Mhm.
just one glimpse of this crazy shit that they do with
Yeah.
teenagers
It's so
on a
true.
daily
It's
basis.
like
Yeah,
some days it's just like with the
yeah,
hormones and everything, but there was they just the other day Ava said something and I just started laughing until I was crying. It was
yeah,
so funny and she just kind of said it like she's like, "Was it that funny?" I was like, "That was hilarious."
yeah.
I was like it's like
And sometimes it just
how
blows your
did you
mind.
become this hilarious little person that's as
Yes,
tall as I am now,
I know.
wearing the same clothes, the same shoes, and everything. And it's like, when did this happen? When did
Yeah.
I create this? When did we hit this point?
And by the way, because we were all together earlier celebrating your husband's birthday,
Yeah,
and I just want to say, number one, like Ava was so good with the little kids,
she is the best.
and just so sweet to our daughter Luna, while there, and the other little kids too, and just
Yeah,
playing with them the whole time, and that to me, like when you look over and you see that, and it's like
yeah,
that is
I
awesome
know.
because there are
Like,
a lot of kids, teenagers, and stuff that would just be like, I don't want anything to do with the
yeah.
little kids.
Ah, it makes
Um,
me almost want to cry just
yeah,
because
it
of
was really
how
cool.
like how long we've been doing this together, how long we've been friends. I mean, it's been almost
She
10
was the little
years.
kid in the corner.
She was the little kid in the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah,
And
it's
now
pretty
it's
crazy.
like we've had, 2 or 3 kids since then.
Yeah,
And now just like seeing them grow up together is so special. I
it
love
is.
it.
It really is cool.
Hmm.
So that was a really neat moment.
Yeah.
It's time to get to our guest.
Yes.
I am really, really excited about our guest this week.
Me too.
Because I love to travel. I'm a big
Hmm.
traveler.
I do
Flip, you
too.
you like to travel,
When I can. Yeah.
mostly back and forth to Sam's Club,
That's
but
true. But
that
still,
counts,
get in
I
the car
guess.
and go. Yeah.
Yeah. But as we're all getting kind of geared up for fall and winter travel plans, I mean, Thanksgiving's 2 months away, y'all.
That's right. Yeah.
Too.
Countdown is
Yeah,
on. People are getting their tickets, booking their
yeah.
everything. It's
And
go
so
time.
we wanted to get some insight from one of the most traveling people we know. He's very
Hmm.
travel-y. He
Yeah.
travels all
Very
around. He's
travel.
internationally known.
Uh,
He's a US traveler and now a world traveler. He's an
yeah.
author. He's got books out. He's the guy that you recognize because he took a picture of you in front of that one place. I know. So let's get him on. Let's get him here. It is Mr. Bill Clevlen. Bill Clevlen. What's going on, Bill?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
That's
the
quite
worst introduction I've ever had in
what?
my
Took the words right out of my mouth.
25 broadcast year career. No, that's okay.
You don't look old enough for 25 years, Bill.
Yeah.
Is that true? 25 years?
Well, it's got to be close to that. Yeah, I would think so. Well, let me
Wow.
see. 20. Yeah, I started when I was 19. So, yeah, 19 or 20. Yeah, so that's about right.
Wow.
We are in 2024 now, right?
We are.
Same.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know. The
good.
past 5 years have just been kind of all together.
Yeah. They've been kind of strange.
Yeah.
Bill, where do we find you today?
I don't know. How did you find me?
Yeah. How did you find me? How did you get my number? And can you lose it,
all
please?
that.
Pretty sure I hit the block button, but by God, you found me anyway. Right now, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, but getting ready to actually head to.
Oh dear.
What?
Flip likes to rag on St. Louis. She knows that's where I'm from.
Oh,
And so she knows. She also knows it keeps getting ranked as the most dangerous city in
I was
the
gonna say,
world,
thought-
basically
yeah,
every year. Yeah.
I thought maybe you
Yeah.
heard a gunshot. That's why you.
Yeah.
Ducking.
She's ducking it. Yeah.
But not for long. I'm going to headed to Eastern Tennessee, and then I'll be in Virginia all of October, which I'm excited about.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's beautiful. Just in time for the leaves changing and everything.
Yeah, it should be beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we host a morning show in Tennessee.
I did not know that.
You didn't know
Bill
that?
Cleveland. He did not know that. He did not know that. It's in Cookeville,
Come
Tennessee.
on.
Oh, I'm going to
Uh,
Cookville. That's why
are
I'm like,
you really? Okay, so that's what I was going
Really?
to ask is if you have been to that region
no, I
before.
haven't, and I'm excited. I'm going in a couple of weeks, actually. So yeah.
Nice.
All right. Stop in and have a donut at Ralph's
Oh
Donuts.
my gosh, yeah.
That will be fantastic. And then
Uh-huh.
stop and get a slice of pizza from Big Tony's Pizza. Do that.
Oh, I like pizza.
Mhm.
I did
Yeah.
try pizza places. I'm a pretty picky eater. So
Yeah.
when I
Oh,
travel, that's kind of like my go-to. I
Yeah.
just got back from Spain and I found just one pizza place while I was over there and it was horrible. It was like, you know, those Totino's pizzas, you know,
Oh
yeah.
that's
no.
kind of what it tasted like. I was like, oh my Lord, this is
Uh,
what I found. And I didn't eat much of anything while I was there. I was there for like 10 days and I was like, oh, pizza place, how exciting. And then I was like, uh,
oh.
I have never been let down by a pizza place.
Uh,
That's hard to do. That's
that's
really hard to do.
really?
I mean, there's places where you're like, that pizza was okay,
Right.
but it's still fine.
It's like,
But to be let
yeah.
down that's a whole different story. But
mhm.
my brother's he took his family to Italy last year, and one of his kids is what 9 years old. I think she was 8 then, and after they toured all of the delicious restaurants in Italy and had the best food everywhere, said, "What was your favorite meal?" And she listed off Sbarro at the airport.
Oh my gosh.
So you just can't win.
Reminds me of
Authentic.
the scene from The Office where Michael Scott goes to New York City and he was excited to get a New York slice and he goes to Sbarro.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Uh, so Bill, you do a ton of traveling. We are kind of just wanted to pick your brain a little bit about what can you offer us some helpful tips when it comes to traveling this year? Why do you look like what?
It's like,
He's
I'm just
completely unprepared.
I've
I'm
been,
just digest. Oh, I'm always unprepared. That's what
Yeah,
makes it fun.
yeah.
You want tips for traveling this year? Well, you know the year is almost over. So my
Yeah.
tip,
go
What's your
now.
best summer travel tip?
yeah, my tip for now would be start planning for next year. That's what I would
Okay.
tell you to
Yeah.
Okay.
start doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm pretty organized. So like I plan pretty far in advance.
Mhm.
Of course I travel full time technically, so I kind of
Yeah.
have to have a little bit of a plan. But yeah, no, I well, so like for example, I know I'm going to Cookeville, and so the first thing that I did was reach out to their local tourism office. And a lot of people
Mhm.
don't know that pretty much every city, or at least every large city, and pretty much every county, with some exceptions, has what's called a Convention and Visitors Bureau,
Mhm.
or those of us in the business would say a CVB.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And what a lot of people don't know is, so like I use these folks a lot because they're able to help me find lodging, and
Yes, you do.
they know all of the the people that I might want to interview. They know the local businesses. I know you mentioned a couple of them earlier, but the general public can reach out to these folks, and it's a great free resource when you're trying to travel somewhere, because they can tell you, if there's something that you're interested in. If you like, maybe you're going to, like, I'm going to Virginia. I reach out to one of these places and I say, hey, I really like history and I like,
Uh-huh.
pizza, whatever.
Yeah.
They can tell you right away, oh, you probably want to stay in this part of town because we have,
Nice.
XYZ historical attraction you might want to go and see, or, we have this great pizza place. Oh, you don't want to miss it, here to,
Yeah.
and so it's a really awesome resource that a lot of people don't know about.
Mhm.
And, a quick tip to kind of find those when you are researching, if you go on Google or whatever search engine you use, just type in whatever city you're going to and then just put the word visit in front of it. Because I would say probably 80% of these places go by,
Yeah.
visit Cookville, visit
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Nashville, visit whatever. And you
Yeah.
can find their website and get in touch with them. But to me, that's a great
That's
tip.
great. It's something you
Um,
don't really think about too. It's like, you just kind of focus on Google so much, but Google can only do so much, It's like you
yes.
rely on the people there that are experiencing that stuff on a daily basis. That's really good.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something that I would absolutely
Hmm.
suggest people do. And the other one is Instagram. And so it sounds funny to say that, but here's a great example. So last year, actually, I think I was sitting in this chair around Christmas time and scrolling through Instagram, and I love photos, and I kept seeing, for whatever reason, photos from London at Christmas time kept
Hmm.
showing up in my Instagram
Huh.
feed.
That's a
This is me
sign.
scrolling, by the way. I don't know if this
Yeah.
is just
Is
radio,
that
but
how you do it? Is that how you do it these days?
yeah,
I think you're
you know,
doing it wrong.
and so I kept seeing these pictures, and I was like, man, it is beautiful at Christmas time in London. Like, that is so awesome. I kept seeing these like neighborhoods, these just really neat like light decorations and whatever.
Hmm.
And so I was like, screw it. I went on my American Airlines thing and I booked a flight to London right there from my chair,
Wow.
right after looking
Because
at
of
these.
Instagram.
And so I'm
Dang.
going in.
Yeah.
I'm going in December.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
so
so you haven't gone yet. Okay, I was gonna say, did it look at all how the Instagram is? Because I've seen some things on Instagram, and then you get there and you're like,
Right.
this is not
This
the
is
same
not. Yeah.
picture.
I got
photos are edited.
catfished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going first part of December. I'll be there for like 9 days and taking photos and doing some. I've never been to London, so maybe go to some Ted Lasso sites. I like that.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. So that is one thing that, and I was going to ask this. So I'm going to share one of these pictures here. I'm going to see if I can get approval from the owner here. This is you in front of like the world's largest barber pole. I think is what that is, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then you've got this is you sideways. The original picture was the other way, but our editors didn't know how to turn it around.
Yeah. Fire,
We're gonna
fire
We're
they're
gonna
them.
they're
fire
they're
them.
fired. They're fired,
Yeah,
by the way.
they're fired. They gotta
Yeah,
go.
we cut them loose just before the show. Yeah, this is in front of the world's largest taco. You have a lot of things like that. Do you find those by asking the visitor center, like, tell me the strangest thing I can get a photo in front of? Or like, how do you find that? Seriously, how do you find this stuff? Because a lot of it's like it's not on highway. What's
Right.
a big highway in the U.S. 65 or 70. It's not like just right on the
Yeah.
highway. You gotta get off the
I-10.
road and go. Yeah, you gotta get off the road and go places.
Mm-hmm.
Some weird
Uh,
places
it-
sometimes, right?
I I just do a lot of research. People, it's funny because people don't. I understand why it's my profession, so I put in the work. But most people, when they travel, do not want to put in the work to find things. And it's
Right.
always I always hear that. Well, how do you find? I'm like, well, if you kind of did your
You
homework, you'd
actually
find
have
them.
to.
It's not
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But I have a variety of sources. So like I belong to a Facebook group that's nothing but like oddities on highways. And,
Oh,
and
excellent.
so
Yeah.
I'll find some things that way. Instagram's another one. I'll find quirky stuff. There are some travel apps. There's one called Roadside America, which
Uh-huh.
when you type in your address, or you can use it on the app, and it picks up on your GPS signal, and it'll tell you, oh, 20 miles from here on this dirt road is the place where Buddy Holly's plane crashed.
Oh
Or
my gosh.
so I'd use a variety of things, and then yeah, kind of go to what I think is the most interesting or that will get people's attention on social media. So obviously standing next to a gigantic barber pole, people
Right.
think that's kind of
Yeah.
fun. The world's
I
largest rocking chair, whatever.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. I'm a suck, and maybe that's like the daddest thing in me as far as that. Like, I will if I see that the kids are like, let's just keep driving so we can get to our hotel. I'm like, no, 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 no,
Right.
no.
No.
We're gonna stop and see
Yeah.
the world's biggest ball of yarn. Whatever it is. And
Right. Yeah. No, and people are interested. I just did a not to brag, but to brag a little bit, I just did a lecture for the Smithsonian last month. I think it was last month,
What?
on roadside attractions. And so they do these, they're all virtual, which is interesting. Still, after the pandemic, they still do them virtually. But
Uh-huh.
most of their lectures have, because I've done a couple before, and you might get 30, 40 people that sign up and they pay a fee or whatever. But for the roadside attractions one, they had like 300 people signed up.
Wow.
ooh,
And so people are genuinely interested in
yeah,
these kind of quirky things, and many of them have some kind of an interesting backstory to them. I mean, if you go
Right.
to Oklahoma, there's a town called Catoosa, and in Catoosa they have this gigantic blue whale, And I'm sure you've seen it. I think it's a picture in National Lampoon's Vacation at the end of when they roll the credits. And I mean, I've posted it before, but it's this gigantic whale that this dude,
Yeah. Wasn't that along Route 66?
the long Route 66,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so, but and there's a little pond there. But this backstory is that the guy's wife collected whales, like little miniatures and just whatever as her thing. And so for her, I think it was a birthday or an anniversary, maybe, he built her this gigantic whale. And it's right next to a little lake. And so back in the day, you could actually go swimming from the way. I mean, it's pretty cool. Anyway, but a lot of these have some sort of backstory to them, why they came about.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to find those stories too.
That's really cool. Now, one of the ways I do it now, and it's just serious, is I just go to your website, because that's where I'll look and I'll see those pictures and your Instagram page, and like, okay, I don't know what that is, but that's really cool. You're in front of a giant taco or whatever it is, and I'm like, I want to go see this. Where is this? And that is how I will plan out my vacations now, is by going to follow.
That's a lot of pressure.
Stuff. It is a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. And I have, I'm like, you have no idea how many photos that's a little close up.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. We wanted to see the photos.
Well, see, here's the deal. I have glasses, which I could wear and then be like, oh, okay, but I don't want to wear them. So
yeah.
Okay, sorry. We'll bring it back. All right.
Whew. What was I saying?
I know it's very distracting. So just zooms in on your face right away.
You sidetracked me. I don't remember, but I'm sure it was a brilliant point I was making.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. I don't know. He's got a website. It's scrolling across the bottom. People can go there and check it out. He's got an Instagram page.
I know what I was going to say. I have thousands of photos. And so a lot of times I will just like stockpile a bunch of stuff, like that thing you just posted with the taco. I bet I took that 2 years ago,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't take it.
You haven't changed
like that, But no. So and I have a tripod. People ask, that's another question people ask a lot. Well, who takes all your photos? So I have a tripod. I have two of them. I have a really nice one for my nice camera. Like if I really want a really nice photo, I'll use that. But then I have a little cheap, like $20 tripod that I bought at Best Buy. I throw in this little backpack that I take with me when I, travel or go hiking or whatever. And it fits my cell phone on it. And so I can do a little timed thing and get pictures that way. So so normally no one is following me around with the camera. It's just me. Just me.
But you'd end up taking a lot of pictures of other people because you're in these kind of unique places, in these really cool tourist attractions, and other people don't travel with a tripod because they're not professional travelers. So amateurs. You share stories about some of these encounters. Do you have one that sticks out in your mind recently or anytime recently that that you could share?
No.
Perfect. That's great. On that note, that's the end of the segment. Yeah, everybody.
It is funny. The first time I drove through Smoky Mountain National Park, this is when I was just starting travel writing. I think I'd been doing it for maybe a couple of years. And Smoky Mountains is like one of my favorite national parks. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you've never been, you start driving through and you find yourself pulling off the side of the road every 4 minutes because you just each view is just better than the next.
Different overlooks there.
What I kept finding was that I'd see these people struggling to take photos of themselves, and it'd be some older couple with trying to do a selfie picture, but the guy's arm wasn't quite long enough.
Right.
And so I remember I walked up to it. I'm like, would you like me to take your photo? Oh my God, yes, thank you, that'd be so nice. And so I do the professional photo, right? I'm on the ground and I give them a nice picture, and then I go on to the next stop, and then same thing. You see a family of, it's the dad trying to take a picture of the wife and his 2 kids, and this. So
Right.
I go up and I'm like, "Hey, dude, would you like me to take a picture of all 4 of you?" Oh my God, yeah. So this became kind of a game for me, like the first, because I travel by myself,
You're like the
Yeah.
and
fairy godfather of the Blue Ridge Parkway.
yeah. So I just start driving through the thing, and I'm like, now instead of looking for the views, I'm looking for these people that need pictures taken. And I bet I did a 10 or a dozen, families up
Yeah.
there. But what I found was not only do they do appreciate it, but it was a really interesting way to just kind of meet people.
Yeah.
So inevitably they would say, well, where are you from and where are you from?
Right.
How did you find out about it? And so you kind of get to know people and meet people from all over the country and around the world, honestly.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, it's kind of a neat thing, and I will say I did it in Spain, also the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was in this little town. I can't remember the name of the town, but I was the only one in town that spoke English. And so I started meeting. See, it doesn't matter if you speak English or not. Everybody can take their phone and do,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what it is. Yeah.
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 Of
So
course, one time someone's gonna be like, call 911,
yeah,
and that's
call
also
nine-
the
yeah.
same thing. And you're gonna be over there taking pictures
I'm
of
like,
them.
yeah, but I,
Like, yeah.
how about
Like,
I know
no,
you're,
no.
I know you're bleeding from the ear, but let me take a picture
Yeah.
instead.
Let's capture this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so so that was a lot of fun because I just was taking pictures of people who could not speak English, and they weren't just Spanish. There were people who were
Yeah.
visiting this town from other parts of Europe. One guy did speak a little English. He was French, and he did say to me in his best broken
You're a
English.
slob.
No, he
No,
was
is that
like,
no?
he says, "My wife needs a new phone. What phone is that? What's the quality?" He's asking me questions about
Oh,
the phone camera or whatever.
okay.
But yeah, just kind of an interesting way to meet people for sure.
That's what's really neat, and you share a bunch of fun stories about that throughout, like the photos that you share, and that's what I enjoy is that because I there's something that I think traveling brings people together when you're all at a place looking at the same thing. You
Yeah.
do have a unique opportunity to meet and talk to people that you never ever otherwise would because you all are
Mhm.
sharing this same experience at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I can always, well, generally I can tell when a person has not traveled at all. Like it comes
What are
out
the
in their,
red flags?
Yeah.
well,
Well, yeah. What are red
I'm
flags? I'd like to
interested to
know.
see if I have any of these.
I
Let's
don't
kick
want to
'em off.
insult anyone because
Yeah.
sometimes people can't afford to travel or they can't
Right,
That's
right.
true. That's true.
physically travel, and so I get that. But it's pretty obvious after talking to someone for just a few minutes that they are not traveled, just because your view of the world, and just I think your overall attitude changes if you go other places and you
Mhm.
learn about other, and I say other cultures. I mean, even going from Florida to Utah, or
Right,
from
right.
Yeah.
Virginia to
Yeah.
California, like you still learn a lot even in this country traveling, as opposed to somebody who has never left their town
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
So
That's so true. We interviewed Derek Stroop last week, the comedian, and he grew up in Alabama and he moved to Colorado, to
Mhm.
Denver. And it's just like the complete culture shock from Alabama, North Alabama to Denver is just, you could write
I
a whole comedy thing on it.
on the so when I was in Spain recently, I was able to do this. It was a luxury train across northern Spain.
Oh, I wanna do
Ooh,
something like that so
It was
bad.
pretty cool. And
Yeah.
so I was on a train with 10 other travel journalists from around the world. I was the only
mhm.
American on board, and there were two writer. Well, one was a photographer for National Geographic, and the other girl was a writer for basically it was like Beijing's version of the New York Times.
Uh-huh.
They both spoke very little English. The guy spoke a little more English to where I could at least have a conversation with him. Anyway,
Mhm.
so he was
Okay.
constantly
Well,
asking me, what?
that was this was your train ride. Well,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
It
It's
was.
not a.
It was a second ago. It
yeah,
was a
yeah,
second
yeah.
ago. There it
That's
is.
right.
That's the train. That's Bill on the train. Well, no,
Yeah,
that's well, it was somewhere. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm terrible at this.
I So anyway,
Yeah.
this guy's asking me questions about the English language and things like that. And so I was trying to explain to him how even in our country, certain words and certain phrases can, maybe spelled the same way, sound the same way, but can mean something completely
Totally.
different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the example I used was the phrase "bless your heart." And so I said, "Yeah." I said, "If you say that in maybe in more northern, part,
Yeah.
bless your heart, it may
Right.
mean
Oh.
a nice kind of
Yeah.
maybe even a religious thing." I
Not
said,
in
"But
the
if you go
South.
in the South, a
Mm-mm.
lot of times, bless your heart means you're an
Mm-mm.
idiot,
Yeah. Bless
And
your heart
so,
really means.
Yeah.
they finally were. I was telling them this lesson over dinner, and about 2-3 minutes later, this woman comes over to our table that worked on the train, and she was supposed to be delivering these little agendas every night they'd give us an agenda for the following day.
Uh-huh.
She comes over to the table, she's around the table, and she said, "I'm so sorry, I forgot to print out the agendas. Well, I'll have to give them to you, tomorrow." So I blurred out, I said, "Oh, bless your heart." And the two Chinese people about fell off their chair laughing. And I was
No.
like, they
Oh
got it.
no.
They get it. They understood the joke. So then I had to go and explain to the Italian lady on the train why
Yeah.
bless your heart. That's a whole other thing, but yeah,
But that is true. You gotta be careful what you say too in
Uh-huh.
different areas because they have different
yes,
meanings. That's for
yes.
sure. Bill Clevlen, we've taken up enough of your time.
I was just
And
about
by,
to
and,
say
and
that.
by that, you've taken up enough of our time. Is what I was really
How's
meant
luck?
by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. I thank you so much for swinging by the show. I know that um, this is some of kind of your downtime when you're in St. Louis, visiting, catching up with family and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with us.
Dodging
And
bullets and
yeah,
I haven't
card
done
pack.
any lately,
Yeah,
which is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Make
No,
sure his car's still there when he gets ready to
check
travel
your
again.
hubcaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just checked. It's still out there.
It's still there. It's still out there. It's on blocks, but it's still out there. Bill, thank you so much. Follow now. You're it's still BillOnTheRoad.com, right? This graphic's correct, and it's Bill Around the Globe on Instagram. Um,
Um, I'm doing more international stuff now. So I'm trying to. I'll always be Bill on the road, but yeah,
yeah,
I'm trying to kind of throw in little hints of
yeah.
because some of these
Going
people.
around the world now.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, Bill on the road on Facebook, and then Instagram is. I don't know what Instagram is. Is
It's
Instagram
Bill.
Bill,
It's Bill Around the Grill. I did my
Bill
research.
Bill
around the
around the
globe?
Yeah,
globe.
it's Bill
Okay,
Around the Grill.
yeah. Because I think somebody
Yeah.
had Bill on the road, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my gosh.
And then
Did
it
you
was, how
create
that
that a
goes. It's
while
like,
back and
Yeah.
just forget your password or
Yeah.
something?
oh,
Or
that could have
Probably.
been that too. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If not, I mean, there's a lawsuit there. So I don't know if you're on the
Right.
winning end of it, but there's a lawsuit somewhere to be
It could have
involved.
been that too.
Yeah. Bill, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you follow Bill wherever he's going next, and have a great, safe time in Tennessee. Seriously, say hello to our friends. Swing by and get some pizza and get some donuts. And there's a lot of beautiful stuff in that part of the world. So I think
Yeah,
you're gonna have a great time.
I'm
And
excited.
and take a picture. If you like fun things, take a picture in front of the big pink elephant. Big pink elephant.
Pink elephant in Cookeville. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Will
Mm-hmm.
do.
You'll
I'll
see
send
it. If
you on my.
you're any bit as good as this at this job as you say you are, you'll find the pink elephant.
Well,
You'll
it's
find
funny.
it. You'll do your research.
I actually have probably 3 or 4 pink elephant photos in my archive from other.
Oh God! All right, fine.
If I
Guess it's
forget, I'll
not,
just throw
guess
that
it's
one
not of
out.
a big deal. All right, Bill. Hey, thanks again. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later. Safe travels.
Okay, thanks.
Bill Clevlen, BillOnTheRoad.com. Wow.
I
Wow.
love that
He's
guy.
a fun guy.
He's so funny. He's just like so dry. It's like his
Yeah, we
sense
didn't
of humor is so hilarious.
we didn't get a ton of tips, travel hacks out of that.
I don't know. It's about as helpful as all the things that I
Yeah.
do. It's like could potentially no results guaranteed help
Yeah.
you with your travel.
Now thinking back, now that we've talked to Bill,
Uh-huh.
what's one thing you learned? What's one travel hack you learned?
One thing I learned is to contact it always skips my mind because I always rely on Google and looking up different things. Because with me, I really have to pre-plan things as far as gluten-free goes. So
Oh,
I have to break it all down,
that's
know
right.
which places we can go to, which ones are safe, which ones have dedicated gluten-free menus, dedicated fryer. Like there's a lot of research into it because of Jared and, me having to go along with the gluten-free thing too. And so I usually rely on Google, but contacting those, the visitors bureaus and stuff, that is such a great idea because those people are there, they are living there, they know all the places to go see and do. And it's like, why would you not use that free resource anywhere you're
Yes.
going where it's
And they
available? That's great.
love to share it. So
Yeah,
I worked for one of those visitors
you
bureaus, which is why
did. That's
I
right.
kind of gave Bill a little bit of, he said, I
Yeah.
use them for everything. And I said, yes, you do. People were probably like, what are you talking about? Well, I worked for one when he came to visit a couple of times and he's
Yeah.
like, I want this and I want that.
Right.
And he demanded everything.
Very
Very,
demanding.
very
Like
demanding.
J-Lo or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah,
Who do you
exactly.
think you are? Yeah.
Well, he's Bill Clevlen. He's internationally known. He is probably taking more pictures of people in front of national monuments than
That's
J-Lo or
true.
anybody else. Um, so in any case, no, I'm kidding. He's of course, Bill's great. I give him a
Yes.
hard time, but the visitors, when the people that work there, I loved to share
Yeah.
that area, our area with other people.
Right. It's so
And
fun because
so
it's like,
it is. And you're
look
like,
at all the things that you can do. Like the locals know all of the good
yes,
places to eat, all of the the secrets, the secret places
yep.
and all the fun things to do, like the local spots and hangouts and everything. It's a great, great, great piece of advice.
It really, really is. So
Hmm.
check it out if you're traveling anywhere this fall or next year, as
Yeah.
Bill says, we need to be planning
I
next
don't,
year's trips now.
I don't even know what I'm doing
But
tomorrow.
I
So,
don't either. I don't know how you can plan next year's trips already. But either way, check out the Visitors Convention and Visitors Bureau. All right, we've done this enough. We're already at 45 minutes.
gosh.
This is over our time the
Whew.
time limit that we have given ourselves.
Yeah,
But I think it was worth it to get
it
all
was.
of those helpful tips from Bill Cleveland on traveling.
Yeah. 20 minutes worth, and we got one
Got
thing
one
we
tip.
can
One
use.
tip. Look, he was free. Okay, it was free.
It was free.
And this
Yeah.
whole podcast is free, right? So
He's the only one that responded.
yeah, that's right. Oh, I love you, Bill. All
Love
right.
that guy.
Hey, I think we did a pretty good job again. We've kept it real. We're real
Yeah,
friends. This is our real life, and I think we did a pretty good job of keeping it
we
weird
sure did.
again here on the show. And I want to thank you. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share it with others if you find it helpful in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah,
entertaining in any way, shape, or form, or if
possibly.
it's like a train wreck and you just can't look away, share it with
Yeah.
others so that way they can share in your joy or horror, whatever your feeling may be about this. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate that. All right. Anything else you want to add, Flip?
That's it. I'm good. Play us
All
out.
right. There we go. Have a great week. Bye, y'all.